Good afternoon, everybody. Da Jia Hao. My name is Jerry Grey. I am a British-born Australian. I've been living in Zhongshan since 2005. That's 17 years now. Myself and my wife, Anne Liang, are the founders of the Helping Hands charity organization. We raise money to help disabled people here in Zhongshan. And in 2014, myself and a friend took a bicycle from Zhongshan to Urumqi to raise money. In 2019, my wife and I and another friend went to Urumqi and we rode our bikes back to Zhongshan. And in doing so, we've managed to raise all this money for the disabled community here in Zhongshan.
我曾经跨过山和大海，也穿过人山人海。我曾经拥有着的一切，转眼都飘散如烟。我曾经是。
In 2014, when we traveled from Zhongshan to Urumqi, outside of Hami in Xinjiang, we met some very extreme cold weather, lots of snow, ice, hailstones, and strong winds, very, very strong winds. The following trip, 2019, on the way back, we met even stronger winds and extreme temperatures in the opposite. It's almost like if you're standing in front of a massive hairdryer, really hot wind pushing you back all the time. And I would say there was one day where after 3 hours of riding, we'd only covered 12 kilometers. And that was probably the hardest day of our lives. You just can't get anywhere. When we were on the road, you've got these huge trucks passing you. These things make it very difficult.
It's dry and hot, but it's worth it. Jayo, jayo!
Yeah, when we're on the road, there are days, quite often there are days when I wonder, why am I doing this? What am I doing? This is crazy. My first ride, Phil made this comment to me which stuck with me for a long time. We were doing it for the disabled people. At least we can get here. They can't. So we really need to keep going because of that. We arranged to have a charity party, so we decided to charge people but cover the cost of all the things, and anything left would become a charitable donation. This second trip made me a very big fan of the poverty alleviation scheme. In 2014, when we traveled through Ningxia, Gansu, and Xinjiang, we traveled on some dirt roads, some broken roads. We traveled through towns where there was no high-rise buildings at all. They were just very, very small. Some places where the buildings were made with wood or mud, and the accommodations were very, very poor.
Wow, Jerry, how 辛苦.
And I remember in 2019, and as we cycled through, all I saw was modern high-rise and a shopping center, and where I'd seen donkey carts and people going about their daily business on foot, they were now on motorbikes, electric bikes. They had three-wheeler motorbikes, and the shopping center had a car park with loads of cars in it. And that's just in 5 years. It was really surprising to me to see that the standard of living generally for most people in that area had increased quite a lot.
Having some great roads. Fantastic.
The roads started. Now, if somebody's growing, for example, growing peaches, growing apple, it doesn't matter, any product, they're selling them locally, but now they can sell them through the Wi-Fi, which is installed, online. This didn't happen before, through the 5G, which is installed.
Near the border of Ningxia and Gansu. It's very, very beautiful.
And the idea is that they don't just throw money into the villages and say, here's some money. They actually put money into programs that build up businesses within those villages, so those villages will become self-sustaining, and probably are already. Most of them are self-sustaining. If I was asked to judge the poverty alleviation program as being successful or unsuccessful, I have to say it's very successful. The fact that nearly 1 billion people have moved from poverty into some degree of affluence or mid-level comfort, that in itself is unprecedented in history.
Zhongshan! Oh! Hi! Hi! Hi!
When Anne and I first got to know Zhongshan, it was related to this disabled sports, and he's part of the cycling team, and I think the first time I really knew him was one time I went out to kind of help with the cycling team, but the problem I had with him was I couldn't keep up with him. He's too fast for me. So I'm impressed by the way he's overcome his disability, the way he just loves to ride, and it suits him. It's something that he's good at and something that he enjoys doing. So a couple of trips ago we were out here, Anne and I were out here, and we were looking at Zhongshan's bike, and it's a wreck. His old bike is a bit of a wreck. And I said, well, let's try and organize him a second-hand bike. A week or two later, so he got a new bike through a connection of people that we know through our helping hands, as friends of the community.
Zhongshan 你過嚟睇下，過嚟，比較一下有咩唔同啊？兩個轆有咩唔同啊？有咩唔同啊？大啲咯。
佢胎要換啦。
邊個胎要換？
應該。
啊呢個胎要換啊嚇，係咯，呢個胎要換咯，唔安全啊嘛。咁呢個胎安全噶嘛？你做咩平時唔踩呢部單車啊？送咗俾你，你唔用，你唔捨得用啊？
我怕踩出俾人偷咗。
你怕有出俾人偷咗啊？咁你咪有把鎖，咁你仲有密碼啊？你用你嘅秘密密碼鎖住啊，唔怕俾人偷啦嘛？你識唔識鎖先？
Anne and I were just out for a bike ride one day. We're just coming along, and she said, oh, Zhongshan lives near here. Let's go see if he's home. And we came along this road, came up here and stopped here. And it was the first time I'd been here to his home. Wow, it's fantastic. It's in a great location, but it's a very underdeveloped home. It didn't have a bathroom, it didn't have a kitchen, and basically water was coming out of the well rather than from a tap. This was dirt. What we're standing on now is concrete, so it's dirt, and there was no shelter. There's just a very short shelter above us. So we now have a covered way, and we have a concrete platform for which to basically park their bikes and do things. Around the back here was their shower, but let's take a look at the kitchen first of all. Hi, Zhongshan, excuse me. Let's take a look at the kitchen. This is what used to be the kitchen. As you can see here is bark, and this is asbestos, both dangerous products in a kitchen. The bark can catch fire and the asbestos can cause illnesses. And this is where they were doing all of their cooking and storage. And take a walk out. Now remembering this was dirt in here, and this is all new. This was built in cooperation. We were trying to get him a new bathroom and a new kitchen, and this is both bathroom and kitchen. So they have a proper cooking facility, proper washing facility, and a proper toilet. Now, this was built in conjunction with a decorating business who helped us. Once they realized what we were trying to achieve, they helped us to achieve it. You can see how difficult this was, because it's a very small piece of earth, and in order to build this they had to dig foundations really low down because there's a river surrounding the whole area. This used to be the footpath to the toilet, so these mats were the toilet, or the way to the toilet, and the toilet was just into the river here. There was no other sanitation at all, just going straight into the river. And you can see there's a platform there for you to stand on and squat on, and that's it. So with Helping Hands assistance, a group of companies, a group of organizations got together, built the new kitchen, built the new toilet, and this now doesn't need to be used. There are a lot of people who live like Zhongshan, and they're not disabled. They're poor. And that's where poverty alleviation is working. So poverty alleviation is helping literally everybody. It didn't change very quickly here until we got involved. But that doesn't mean that they were forgotten. Mum's got a job now, which she didn't have before. So she's working on the new freeway. And because there wasn't a freeway before, she didn't have a job there, so now she does. So things like that are happening, and that's contributing to their alleviation of poverty. Zhongshan doesn't have a job, and he gets a social security allowance or pension because he's not working. But if we can get him a job, and if he wants to do it, then that would be great.
Hey mate, how's it going?
Oh, hi Gordon. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Now we want to talk about this. Here's what we've got in mind. One thing I probably need to... First met Gordon about 15 years ago. We'd only both been in China for a short period of time. Then I became an employee of his eventually, and he supported us. He was a sponsor of the very first bike ride that we had. He provided me 2 months' paid salary. The other thing that he does, as well as making donations, providing sponsorship and support, he actually employs people from the disabled community. And currently in his factory he has 3 disabled people working with him.
We employed our first disabled colleagues about 5 years ago. It started because my colleague Jerry Grey at the time was involved in a charity that he founded with his wife Anne many years ago. 2 of them have a only moderate, I'd say, physical disability, and 1 of them has a mental disability. The guys with the physical disability, they can pretty much do anything that an able-bodied person can do, but maybe just not as quickly, that's all. Mental disability is a bit more of a challenge, but what we did, we sat down and we worked out, okay, what can this person do? What are they capable at? What do they like doing? And that's why, for example, we put Betty in charge of organising the exercise regime. She works with one of the other guys to organise it. She goes along, she watches them, she photographs and videos the classes, and she really, really enjoys that. And one of the reasons why I did it is because I just love living in Zhongshan. I mean, I love it. I really love to watch this country develop in the way that it has. I've been in China for 16 years. I've been very successful here, certainly more successful than I was in the UK. But that success, I feel, is owed, certainly in part, to China and to the people of China. You know, I didn't make the money that I now have. I had a lot of people help me get there. And that's why I feel that that money doesn't really belong to me in some ways. It belongs to other people. You know, so I just want to give some of it back now, and in the future, in years to come, you know, I'll probably give back a lot more.
陳兄，嗱，買咗個燈，車頭燈，呢個知唔知咩燈？呢個放邊度嘅？
放尾嘅。
車尾係啦，一個車頭燈，個車尾燈俾你。
一個車頭燈，一個車尾燈。係
啊，放喺你部單車度，我哋睇下點樣裝好唔好啊？好。叫 Jerry 教你好唔好啊？都係希望能夠以後係，正如阿 Jerry 之前嘅採訪都有講過話，授人以漁不如授人以漁嘛，即係帶俾佢哋一啲技能，或者係通過我哋嘅一啲幫助，能夠佢哋去更加好咁融入社會，好似振興為例咁，佢識踩單車，咁我哋係咪可以將佢變成我哋嘅殘疾運動員，去參加我哋嘅自行車訓練，參加比賽，咁樣比賽贏都係有獎金噶嘛，所以呢個亦都係佢哋一個我哋覺得係能夠幫到佢 有一個職業規劃嘅一個方向。
Yes.
Yeah， 閃下嗰個。係啦，跟住好嘢。
還有 Yan 的 for his mom。
呢個俾你媽嘅，俾你媽部單車。你而家識唔識裝？